The Monday, July 6th meeting of the Mayor and Council of the City of Roswell. I would like to welcome everyone here and thank you for coming. And I would like to invite our wonderful fire chief, Ricky Spencer, who is the only man in uniform here tonight, to come forward and lead us in the pledge. If we'd all stand and face the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda? So moved. Motion by Councilman Orleans. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Becky Wynn. Does anyone in the audience have any questions regarding the consent agenda? All in favor of the consent agenda, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. This time I will call upon Councilmember Rich DiPolito for an item which I understand may be deferred, but we still want to call it on the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first item on the agenda is consideration of a Sidewalk Cafe license application SC09-04 for Ceviche, 963 Canton Street, and the applicant will be allowed to fill in the parking space in front of their location. Mr. Townsend and I had the opportunity to meet with the owners prior to the meeting tonight, and we still have some unresolved issues as far as the table layout, so we just talked to them about deferring this till next week to give us an opportunity to sit down and go over that. Mr. Townsend, do you have anything else?
Staff would recommend deferral till next Monday night.
Do we have a motion?
Move to defer till next Monday night, the 13th.
Motion by deferral by Councilmember DiPolito. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Orleans. All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. This time I'll call upon Councilmember David Tollison, liaison to the Environmental Public Works Department.
Thank you, Mayor. We have the second reading of an ordinance. If the city attorney, I guess, would do the reading.
Thank you. This is an ordinance to amend Chapter 24, Utilities and Services of the Roswell Code of Ordinances. Now, therefore, to accomplish the foregoing, the Mayor and Council of the City of Roswell, pursuant to their authority, do hereby adopt the following ordinance. Chapter 24, Article 24.5, Water and Sewer, is deleted in its entirety, and a new Article 24.5, Water and Sewer, is substituted, therefore, to read as follows. Text of which is adopted hereby by reference, and if approved, this will be the second reading.
Mr. Moore, you want to give us a brief description of what this ordinance will accomplish?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. This is one of the standards that was adopted by the ARC, Green Cities Initiative, and recommended by the Green Ribbon Committee. And essentially, this will require that for all new installations in city buildings that we install high efficiency water fixtures. Currently, the standard, the building code for all buildings, not just city buildings, is low flow fixtures. High efficiency is another step above that, and so this would be demonstrating the best technology in terms of water conservation.
Does the council have any questions? Do we have a motion? Motion for approval by Councilmember Tollison. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Orleans. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Any further discussion by council? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. At this time, I'd like to call upon Kayla for a brief update on Councilman Eichelhardt's sustainability efforts.
Yes, sir. We are participating in the ARC Green Community Certification Program, and the deadline for submittal is July the 9th, and we will deliver on July the 8th. Roswell's package at level 2 certification, which requires 225 points, and our package has 240 points for them to consider. There may be some changes that we have to make to it, but certainly appreciate Councilman Eichelhardt's initiative, Green Ribbon Committee, Sustainability Committee, and certainly the Mayor and Council for adopting the appropriate policies that are required for that. So we're excited about that.
Councilman Eichelhart, thank you for your leadership in bringing this forward, and with your encouragement and your persistence and your enthusiasm, we were able to reach level 2 in, for what was us, record time. So thank you very much. This next item, please.
Our next item is a resolution to authorize a loan from GIFA. Mr. Mooring.
Yes, sir. Thank you. This is the loan that you had approved in November from the Georgia Environmental Facilities Authority for up to $1.2 million for construction of a new water line along South Atlanta Street. And the action tonight would basically to ratify and authorize the mayor or city administrator to sign the loan agreement with the final terms, which include a 3.89% per annum interest rate for 10 years and an origination fee of 1%. I'll be glad to take any further questions.
Does the council have any questions regarding this application for a loan? Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Tolleson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Becky Wynn. Mr. Mooring, if we receive this loan, when will this project begin, and when can we hope for completion?
Mr. Mayor, we initiated the design with our own funds to expedite the project, and so we are past the 75% design point. We're currently negotiating with property owners for easements. We anticipate the start of construction in October and should be complete in about 6 months, so probably March next year.
Mr. Mooring, it's my understanding that this loan will be repaid from the water fund account and not from taxes,
Absolutely right.
property taxes,
right.
sales taxes.
This will be
coming out
paid
of revenues.
strictly from water revenues, and approximately $145,000 per year.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Do anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously.
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
We have an addendum that pertains to Mr. Mooring. Can I go ahead with that?
Please.
This is related to a memorandum of understanding with the Georgia Department of Community Affairs regarding our Water First designation. Mr. Mooring?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. You may recall that last fall we initiated an effort to be designated among the 12 or 15 or so water systems in the state that were classified as Water First communities. We have been down that road, and we're close to the finish line. We now have the final issue is a memorandum of understanding that basically spells out the steps that we will continue to follow, such things as providing support for staff to participate in Water First activities. There is a panel of visitors that come to review our program, and so in turn we would be expected to provide staff to do that for other communities in the future. There's no direct financial commitment for this, but it would provide financial benefits in terms of a 1% reduction in GIFA loan rates. It would provide opportunities for us to participate in certain special forums. The only thing that is called for, most of the things they designate are things that we're already doing. They're saying you have to continue to fulfill your permit requirements and things of that nature. The only thing that is called for that we don't currently have is a septic tank management ordinance, and we would be required to work on that within the next 5 years. This is something that is already within the plan of the Water Resources Division, and so from a staff standpoint, it would be, but essentially, your approval of authorizing the mayor to sign this agreement would then finalize the terms, and we would then set up a signing ceremony with the Commissioner of the Department of Community Affairs.
Mr. Mooring, will this 1% savings apply to that loan we just
Unfortunately, it will not, Mr. Mayor. That's not the first time that question has been asked. We have posed it in a variety of ways, in a variety of venues, but the answer is always no.
Well, I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
And why wouldn't it apply, just out of curiosity?
Because you have to have the designation prior to the time that the actual loan is applied for.
Well, would it be possible to postpone the application a month and front the money, have the city loan them some money to get the project going?
The application has already been processed and approved. Back when we came to you for approval, we submitted it. Then these are the loan documents, so we have already gone through that process. So we can't undo it. So
I'm not asking you to undo it. I'm just talking to redo it.
No, sir.
Okay, well, Ken and I always try. It just doesn't make sense, but government doesn't always make sense.
Well, Mr. Mooring and his staff have worked on that, and I reposed the question to a different person on Thursday and was told, all caps, no.
It's just not fair. We have a...
That's true, but it is still a real good thing.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilman Tolleson. Do we have a second? Second. Second by Councilmember Eichelhardt. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Any further discussion by council? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is Councilmember Laurie Henry, Liaison to Public Safety Department.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The only item on our agenda this evening is the approval of a resolution to apply for a 2009 Assistance to Firefighters Fire Station Construction Grant through the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Chief Spencer.
Thank you, ma'am. This is competitive fire station construction grant provides financial assistance directly to local fire departments to build, modify new or existing fire stations in an amount not to exceed $5 million. This grant is being sought to replace Fire Station Number 4, which is located on Holcomb Bridge Road. The deadline for submission is July the 10th, 2009. And we're going to be requesting $3.7 million to relocate the station. And if approved for the grant, we'll construct a fire station that will be LEED certified. Have any questions?
Does the council have any questions? And I understand that the exact location has not been selected, but we'll put it in either at the same place or in the general area where the current.
Yes, sir, in the general area. That is correct.
Any other questions? Councilman Orleans.
Chief, is that 3.7? You figured out an accurate number, or why aren't we going after a whole $5 million?
The grant is very specific on what we're applying for. We have to have architectural drawings, figures, and all in place. And this does not include land acquisition. So
the
3.7 is
accurate?
totally. It's within. We think a couple of $100,000.
Okay, just checking. Thanks.
Any other questions? Chief, do we have any idea of the chances of getting this grant?
I believe there's a saying for that, but I really don't think it would be appropriate for me to say that. But
it's a long shot.
Well, there's $210 million spread out all over the United States for fire stations. So we have a very good grants manager, Danny Blitch, and we also have a very good grant writer, Tony Popolis, who are working on this. So we're keeping our fingers crossed.
Any other questions? Anyone in the audience have any questions? Do we have a motion yet?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Laurie Henry. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Orleans. All in favor, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. I want to compliment our grant writers and our grant chasers and all of our staff and council members for aggressively pursuing grants to help the city of Roswell out and help lower the burden on our local taxpayer.
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Mayor?
Yes.
May I just, on the
Councilmember
side,
Wynn.
we had a horrific fire in my neighborhood Saturday. Was it Sunday?
Saturday.
Saturday. And I just want to commend our fire department because my understanding, our time was 6 minutes from the time of the call to then when they arrived.
That is correct.
And they stayed there with the Johns Creek Fire Department for hours after that, and I think even well after dark, to make sure that that fire was out. And because of their quick actions, our houses are very close together, and not a lot of room to work. And I just want to commend our firefighters for the excellent job that they did on Sunday on that fire.
Thank you. I'll make sure they're all aware of that. Thank you very much.
I also understand that we got there first, even though we were further away, and I think that speaks well for our service.
That is correct. We did get there first. We were first there and last to leave.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
This time I'll call upon Councilmember Becky Wynn, liaison to the Transportation Department.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first item for transportation is approval of a resolution. Let me start all over again. Approval of a resolution modifying the city standard construction specifications by aligning the city standards with national standards. And tonight we're going to have Mr. David Lowe present this.
Thank you, Councilmember Wynn. Remember, we talked about this at committee. The present city design standards are overly conservative in the standards city construction specifications. The design standards are tied to functional classification of each roadway, which leads to potentially high operating speeds. Staff proposes bringing the city design standards in line with the current industry standard, which is the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials Green Book. It's also called a Policy on Geometric Design of Highway and Streets. The net effect of these changes is that it will reduce the maximum allowable speed for future projects while maintaining a safe roadway network.
Does the council have any questions? Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Becky Wynn. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember DiPolito. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously.
Okay, the last item is approval for the mayor and/or city administrator to sign documents for the acquisition of right-of-way on parcels for our Crossville at Holcomb Bridge Road intersection improvement in the amount not to exceed $252,780. Mr. Lowe.
Thank you, Councilmember Wynn. We're trying to get Phase 2 stimulus money for this intersection improvement. We need to begin right-of-way acquisition so that we can complete it in September, so that we can let the project in November. We think if we begin now, if you approve this, that we can complete the right-of-way acquisition in August. There are 13 parcels of right-of-way to acquire. We're bringing 12 of them to you now. There's one that is still being reviewed by Georgia DOT's appraisal reviewer, and we'll bring that to you separately. We just recommend that we go forward with this.
Does the council have any questions? Is there money in the budget for this?
Yes.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Becky Wynn. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Tollison. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. We are adjourned. Good short meeting, folks.